Hey, hey. Good evening. Good evening. All right. I'll see if a few of y'all will pop on live. It would be a whole lot more fun if I see some faces. Of course, I could just share whatever's on my radar, but it'd kind of be fun to see if, y'all want to pop on live and just chitty chat back and forth. So anyways, come on in. Somebody say hi. Somebody say hi. Get some people on here. We'll start. Well, what's up, girl? How you been, Miss Tamara? Miss Tamara here. So, yes. Hello, Cassie. So good. Hello, Aunt Teresa. Love you, love you. Okay, so my phone has been blowing up, text messages, DMs, all the things. I would assume that for the majority, it was kind of an out of the blue announcement. It has been on our radar a couple. I forgot to bring what I was going to bring. I was going to be all prepared. I'm clearly not prepared. Sorry, I had all day to prepare. Anyways, so it probably felt completely out of the blue, especially for, I would assume most of you. We haven't talked much about it. Even if it was on our radar, we're kind of like the type of people who, unless it's actually going to happen, we're not going to open our mouths about it. Because why? Like, why? I will say that we did kind of start, preparing our parents that it was on our radar, but I don't know that many of them thought we were actually serious. And so anyways, here we are. And I don't know what all you guys want to know. I have been traveling to Georgia ever since March of 2021, so not quite a year. And it started turning into monthly trips. And so now I make this joke that instead of traveling once a month to Georgia to go to church, I might as well save all of that money and just turn it into a house payment, because that's really what it was turning into after flight and car rental and hotel and all the things. It was obviously, an expense each time. And I love that we already have an incredible community there. We have been plugged into our church there since March. And by no means did I think going in March would turn into this. It was not on my radar. Let me put it this way. So people kind of like look at me and say, I kind of saw it coming. And I actually, while I see what they're saying, the interesting thing is that it would be easier for me to stay here. Now, let me explain myself. I kind of am the type of person that likes to maximize in any and every area, meaning I like to have my cake and eat it too. Now, I feel like normally we say that compared to like a relationship where you're in a relationship and you're like doing something outside that relationship. That is not what I mean. Let me tell you what I mean by that. What I mean by that is I feel very blessed that I can literally go where I want to go when I want to go there. So for example, whether it's a financial means and I can just pick up and head where I want to go, whether it's supportive, meaning my husband is literally amazing and he's like, listen, if you got something to do, like I'll stay with the kids, I'll hold down the fort, like do what you got to do. Like he's incredible. Like I couldn't do half of what I do without that man. Like I know that I am like the loud mouth, like everybody, sees me, and he is just like this solid man in the background. Like we could not function without him. So just know that like him and I just have this beautiful partnership and understanding, but we both walk in our strengths. And so I guess like it wasn't really necessarily on my radar to relocate because I want to have my cake and eat it too. Meaning I live here. I have everything I know here. I have an environment that, while is not amazing in these circumstances, I'm not running from this environment. You guys know, if you know me at all, I am happy to fight in this environment. I am happy to be a warrior in this environment. I am happy to stand completely on my ground with my offensive nose and mouth. Meaning I've never covered it, not a once in this state, even though it is crazy closed. I am fine to live life exactly how I feel called to live life. And I want you to know that I want you to feel confident to live life however you feel called to live life. Now, if that means that you feel like you should be covering your face, then you have freedom to do that. But if you're somebody who's just been covering your face because you think you have to, I'm here to tell you, you do not. You do not. I literally find my healthcare according to freedom. I find my shopping according to freedom. I find my community according to freedom. I do not bow. I do not bow. And again, I am my own boss. So I obviously have a job that I can boss myself around, and my boss, me, says I don't have to wear one, right? So I guess I'm just saying, like, I'm not running from the climate of Washington. I'm not running from the fact that we are incredibly closed on the West Coast. Like, I beg you, if you live here, to go somewhere else just for a weekend, just for a week. You guys, there are states that literally have been living life for a year and a half. My brother lives in Florida, and they have not had any type of mask mandate since May of 2020. I have friends who literally live in Arizona, and they're like, the only time I hear about insert word is when I talk to people from the West Coast. She's like, nobody talks about it here. I live in Arizona. We don't talk about it ever. I literally would travel to Georgia and I would see faces all the time and smiles and people. And like, I'd go through Chick-fil-A and the people in restaurants aren't even wearing masks. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not getting on here to get on my high horse. I guess I'm just getting on here to say, I'm not running from a state that is closed to go to a state that is open. Now, can I happily point out all the benefits of where we're going? Yes, absolutely, I can. My kids, 2 of my 4 are really not doing well. In fact, they're really getting destructive. We're having issues personality-wise. That's probably not right. They have great personalities, but I mean, very strong emotions, property being damaged, incredible outbursts. Like I've always lived life, and my kids have always been able to live life. And so that is a perk of where we're going. But again, that isn't why we're going, because staying here, oh, hi, Mr. Snodgrass. How you be, Pastor? Staying here where I know is actually having my cake and eating it too. Because I can be me. I've always been me in this state. I've always lived life how I wanted to. And I can go wherever I want to go, thankfully, because I am blessed to be able to have the time freedom, the financial freedom, all the things. Okay, so staying here is having my cake and eating it too. Leaving, and now I'm going to cry, which I'm trying not to do on this live. Leaving actually feels more sacrificial. Going actually feels like we've counted the cost. We've counted the cost. Now, that's not to say that where I'm going doesn't excite me. There's so much about this that does excite me. And I hope to dive into the incredible things that have happened. Like, the Lord is blowing our minds. Friends, we never thought it would move this fast. In fact, I don't know if you saw my posts over the last couple of weeks, but I literally told the Lord every day, Lord, you have full permission. You slam shut any door. Right? Now, of course, I always pray that he will open doors that only he can open, but that he would close doors that only he can close, because I don't want anything that isn't of him. Nothing. I'm not interested. If this isn't his timing, I'm not going. If this isn't what he has for us, I'm not here for it. Because again, I live a life I love. I'm in a space and in a city where I'm known and I have a community and life is, I mean, I wouldn't say easy, because Washington State just isn't easy right now, right? But life is good here. So, a couple of things I want to highlight. And then if you have any questions, yes, Tyra, we're moving. And you guys, we're moving fast. Like, we will be gone. Like, we're shooting for February 2nd. And this is how good the Lord is too. I was scheduled to be in Georgia in this month, January, and in February. Thankfully, I didn't buy my plane flights for February. And I literally was getting back every month. I just launched a new builder for doTERRA there. Like I'm telling you guys, I'm living. Like, I'm doing all the things. And then the Lord totally was like, yeah, you're going. And I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe and I start giving him, like when would be convenient for me. And he liked to kind of very gently in his incredible way, because he's good, you guys, he's so, so good. He just showed me that that was my timeline. That wasn't his timeline. And so needless to say, we're off as of February 2nd. It's kind of tentative, but I was already scheduled to be in Georgia in January. I think it's like 20th, 21st, and 22nd for a women's conference. And you guys, I literally am closing on my house the exact same time that I'm there for that. I don't have to buy another ticket. I don't have to schedule more time away. I'm closing on my house the Monday right after women's conference ends. Like, who could plan that but the Lord? Also, I don't know if you guys missed this memo, but I literally have never seen the house. I haven't. Now, I will tell you, we have been looking at houses. We knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. I was kind of aiming for like summer, because if you know anything about what we've launched in this area, we've got revivals happening monthly. We've got Kaneo happening weekly. Like, the Lord is on the move, and I am so grateful. And the first group I told was actually in person. This is where I tear up. And we told our Kaneo campus. And I looked at them, all 40 of them, and I said, here's the thing. I was just a mere spark. I'm just this tiny little girl with this big mouth. I just lit a spark. But each and every one of you chose to light your flame, and I want you to go bigger and just light a torch, a blaze. Just go. Be bigger than anything I could ever do on my one self. 40 of them. Hungry, seeking, searching, digging. Like, you guys should see us weekly in that classroom for 2 hours. It's like it's so good. If you are any sort of call yourself a believer, you better get your buns in Kaneo. If you are any type of interested in learning about anything that has to do with Christ or Christianity or the Bible or anything, like you have to go through Kaneo. Like, it's like, this is a must, right? So telling them was super hard, because I feel like I have put so much time and energy and effort in, only because I wanted to, right? Into building this and making sure that we had a place, a community, a group that was really truly diving in and supporting each other and racing and running and just going after the Lord. And so to leave that mid-year, I'm really struggling. But the Lord, I'll kind of tell you how this all started, and then I'm not seeing any questions. So I don't know what y'all want to talk about, but I know my phone's been blowing up like crazy. So my husband had a vision in, I don't know when it was. I want to say it was like end of August, maybe. And basically the Lord showed him that he was completely uprooting our family and moving us. And Nordstrom didn't say anything to me, nothing. And he just prayed. Sorry, am I still here? My phone likes to put these little things on my screen, which blocks out everything else. And so anyways, if that happens, I'll quickly X out of it. But here I am again. Sorry about that. Can you comment if you can see me and you can hear me? And I'll just keep going, hoping that you can. So my husband gets this vision, and he just kept praying into it. And he didn't tell me, right? Thank you for the likes. I think that means you can hear me. Well, I have always prayed, Lord, I will be, if you say go, I will go. If you call, I will answer. Like, I just have always been that personality. If he's not in it, I'm not interested. If he's not there and I'm not in his best, no thanks. Like, there's nothing in this life that interests me if it's not aligned with who he is and what he has for me. Now, I'm not saying I haven't had seasons of doing my own thing, okay? I'm not saying that. I certainly have. But I just prayed. I'm like, Lord, I feel like there's something that you are like, you have for us. What is it? What is going on? And so I just was instructed by a mentor to pray that I would be willing and obedient. And so every day I prayed, I would be willing and obedient. And I remember it was September 7th. And the Lord really pummeled me in my quiet time. And when I mean pummeled, I just mean I had a huge aha that really didn't feel good. Hey, Pastor Derek, was it you who said this? I think it was. Maybe it wasn't. You'll have to tell me. You're on live. But during this whole thing a few weeks ago, somebody who I would listen to because they're sound biblically teaching, right? They said, the voice of the Lord isn't the voice you want to hear. The voice of the Lord is actually the voice that scares you, and it's not what you want to hear. And it was either you, Pastor Derek, or it was Pastor Jeff Lyle. I'm pretty sure it was one of you too. And I sat there and I was like, they could not be more right. Because on September 7th, when I say I got pummeled by the Lord, I knew what he was calling me to. And I meant to bring my Bible because I was reading out of the Passion Translation. And oddly enough, I was in Song of Solomon or Song of Songs, however you want to say it. And I'm just reading. I'm just enjoying the Lord. I'm just basking in him. And then all of a sudden, I'm sobbing like a baby in chapter 2. And I believe it's around verse 12, maybe. Again, I was hoping to really share it with you. So I'm reading it. And he's just like, come away with me. Can't you discern the changing of the season? Can't you see that I want you to come after me? Can't you see that I'm pulling you? Again, this is me totally paraphrasing because it's not in front of me, right? But he is just pummeling me. So I'm praying into it. And I'm like, okay, Lord, okay. So I'm praying because I know what he's saying. And I am just okay, well, I don't know what Nordstrom's going to say about this, So I sat on mine for 6 weeks. Mind you, he got his vision a week or two before I ever got mine in my quiet time. So we both got it completely separate, never shared it, and then finally came together. I want to say it was maybe early or mid-October, and it was at the end of a date night, and we pull into the driveway. And we don't open the garage door until we want the kids to know that we're home, right? Because the minute the garage door opens, the kids race out. And we just start talking about what the Lord has been showing us. And we start sharing. And it's a floodgate opens. And here was the cool thing, is that mine came via the word. Okay. And there were 2 lines that stood out. One, it was that come out of the place of where you've been hiding. And come into, and I don't remember. I'm sorry, you guys. I'll have to post it so that you can actually read it. It's the Passion Translation. Well, my husband had heard 2 things when he saw his vision. 1, I'm uprooting you and I'm moving you. And 2, I am pulling you out from where you have been hidden. And so what my husband had seen and heard in his vision was confirmed to me in the word, in the passage that I was reading. And literally we're sharing back and forth. And he's like, no, you did not. I'm like, yes, I did. Because I journaled the whole thing, right? And I'm like, no, you didn't. He's like, yes, I did. And he's he showed me where he had typed it. And we both had timestamps, right? And we're and we literally looked at each other and we were like, wait, you have been sitting on this for that long? And I was really proud of myself because I'm the type where he's my person, right? So I share everything with him. I talk with him about everything. I probably talk a lot about all the things, right? He's probably like, woman, I've never met somebody who talks so much like you. And I held on to it for 6 weeks because I didn't want to bring something up that would push him some way if he hadn't heard it on his own. So we actually, after we had shared that with each other, we were there together in October for a pastors and leaders conference, and we went and looked at houses. And in all honesty, we found a couple that we liked, but we also didn't feel like the timing was right. We felt like the Lord was he was yes, confirmation, but slowing us down and putting a pause on it. And we were cool with that. Again, I want my cake and can eat it too. Know what I mean? And if you're just joining us, you'll have to go back to the beginning and watch the replay. So then I'm there again in December. And again, it's not so much on my radar to move because we already feel like we're good and we're pausing and we're just waiting on his timing. And so I went and looked at houses just because I'm I'm here, I might as well. And I remember texting him that there was one that was a possibility, but whatever, you know what I mean? I could give or I could take. So then the very next day, we see an email pop up into our whatever, because we were getting daily emails. And I'm like, oh, it's the house that we wanted. It's the house. So we totally were we want this. We had all of our ducks in a row. We were ready, all these things. So we ended up putting an offer on this house. And we are super excited. We think that we're totally going to be moving into this house. It's like a dream. It's totally got massive amounts of rooms. I've never seen it in person, but it's so much room. It's on the lake. It's got all the things. It's got space. That's what we wanted, you know? And so anyways, lo and behold, come to find out, and we're praying every day. Well, I don't know. He's praying. I'm praying in my own quiet time, right? And we're like, Lord, whatever you have, open whatever door you want to open, close whatever door. If this is not of you, like, I'm not interested, like, don't give it to me. Like, even though we literally think this is our dream, like, if this is not from you, if this is not your best, we're not interested. And so anyways, we got the house inspected. And I remember telling the Lord, I'm like, listen, like, if it does not inspect, I'm not going. Like, I'm not interested. So I remember just praying while my husband was on the phone with the inspector. And the inspector literally said this to him. He goes, I would not touch that house with, I don't know if he said a 10-foot pole, a 50-foot pole, like nothing. And I remember telling my parents, because they were the only ones that knew at the time that we had put an offer in the house, and they were really devastated. Okay, again, I'm spoiled here. I have my parents around the corner, and I have my husband's mom right across the bridge, which is 10 minutes. Okay. Everything from me that I need is 5 or 10 minutes. Like we have everything we need and it's so close. Whereas in Georgia, like everything is so spread out. It's like, oh, you need something? Well, go 20 minutes. Oh, you need something else? Go another 30. You know what I mean? So I'm just super spoiled here. So anyways, we had told our parents, and of course, lots of tears, lots of all the things. And I remember when I told my parents, we're not going to do the house. We're not interested. It's a mess. Like, it's not what we want. And my mom said, you must be really disappointed. And I said, in all honesty, it opened up a really good conversation with our kids, because we told our kids we don't want anything that isn't of the Lord. And so he is completely free to open and close doors. Mind you, we found this out before Christmas that the inspection flopped, okay? Do you guys remember the post about my kids' Christmas Eve? They knew we had lost that house. They knew that we weren't going. They've been involved in this whole process, and to their credit, they have kept their lips sealed, because they know that it's not theirs to tell, and it's ours to tell when the time is right. So it's Christmas Eve. And I told the kids I didn't buy them presents this year, which I really didn't. I didn't shop. And so they're in their room. And they really know that Christmas isn't going to be full of gifts, because I already told them that wasn't happening this year. And God bless my man, because he went to the store and bought each of them one thing and then some games for the family. And that was Christmas. Like, super simple. Like, I don't know if you guys know me, but I'm just as simple as they come. I'm just like so simple. That, and we have so much that I need nothing else. So I'm passing by their room and I hear them talking. And of course, what is a kid talking about Christmas Eve? They're talking about what could grandparents be getting them, you know? Like, if mom and dad didn't buy us gifts, like, what did Tootsie and Papa get us, you know? Like, what grandpa and granny get us, you know? Like, you know? I walk by their room and I hear the 3 of my boys. So my girl has her own room. My 3 boys share a room. My husband and I have a room. And then we have our 4th bedroom that we use as like an office, a play area, you know, all the things. And I hear my 3 boys praying. And I have never heard the 8 and the 11-year-old pray like they did. I've heard them pray, okay? But I think that behind closed doors, they felt safe than they ever have with being around a dinner table with adults or being in a church around, you know, other people. And I kid you not, those kids made me sob, because on Christmas Eve, they said, Lord, and I couldn't post all of this then because, again, it wasn't time. But literally out of their mouths, they said, Lord, we know that finding a house is a really big decision. And we know that there's a lot to be done. But we just want to say that we want what you want. And we give you full permission to close any door that isn't of you and to open any door that is, because we only want your best. And I am like outside of their room crying, thinking, you know what? And all the times that I have felt like maybe I wasn't getting through to them, or maybe I'm just not doing, no, don't get me wrong. I don't dog myself as a mom. I'm not perfect. I know that, but I also know I care way too much to dog myself as a mom. I just do. But I also know I'm not perfect. And I also know we've been having a lot of issues in our home because of like what's going on with our kids, you know, just again, I think I highlighted that at the beginning of the live. And so to hear them pray that, and then to hear them celebrate the fact that we had just seen Granny at Christmas Eve dinner and they praised the Lord that, and this was cute too. They go, Lord, thank you for almost completely healing Granny. Because again, I think that they realized that she's, like she's older, God bless her. And so she was at dinner with us, but they also saw that she sat for the most of the time, right? Like it wasn't like she was up and she was busy and she was walking around, but she was there. Whereas Thanksgiving, she wasn't. And so to just hear these tiny little beings who we are very open and transparent with our kids about things. Now, we don't bog them down with stresses, right? We try not to do that, but we try to incorporate them in life. We try to show them the difference of decisions. And so when that first house that we really thought was everything we wanted, when it fell through, it created such a conversation with them that said, here's the thing. You guys, we put this whole situation in the Lord's hands and we said, you know what, Lord, if this is from you, we say yes and amen. But if it's not, take it from us. Slam the door shut. And he did just that. So then fast forward to, sorry, I have something in my eyes. I don't know what happened. Oh, we celebrated Christmas and it was nice because all the family was now not expecting us to move. So it was a great time. There was no straining, of stressing. And I just soaked it all in. I knew this was probably my last Christmas here. I didn't know when I would be heading off, but I knew. And so I soaked it all in. In fact, Aunt Teresa, if you're still watching, I just remember when you asked me about September and I probably hesitated, because I didn't know where I'd be in September. And I just soaked everything in of Christmas. I soaked the morning in. I soaked family in. I soaked tradition in. Because I knew that it would probably be our last Christmas where we've always known and where we've always been. And then my mom's birthday, it was good. It was so good. But what was interesting is I woke up the very next day, December 29th. And it was like a shift. And I just felt like the Lord, he just turned a page. And he was like, it's time. And I was like, it's time? Like, what do you mean it's time? And so I reached out to the realtor that we have in Georgia. And I said, any chance you can see this house today and give us a virtual tour? And she said, sure. So she headed over there. And it's beautiful. I mean, again, I haven't seen it. I haven't walked through it. I haven't seen the neighborhood. I have no idea what my drives will look like every day. Like, I know nothing. But I know this. I know that when we trusted the Lord, that if this was of him, we had some very specific asks. And that's not us saying, Lord, we can boss you around. It's instead saying, Lord, we know that if this is of you, you know the desires of our heart. And we trust that you can provide what it is that we desire. And just to watch him orchestrate everything. In fact, so the housing market is kind of crazy in Georgia right now, like everywhere. And the first house, we offered more than asking because we wanted it. Oh, we wanted it so bad, right? Well, this house, Nordstrom's so funny because now he's getting kind of spicy, and he's like, well, if it's of the Lord. So we offer pretty significantly under. And my realtor said, well, if she gets other offers that are better, are you wanting her to counter you because you're interested, or do you just want this price or nothing? And I said, no, we're willing to, pay more because I heard Nordstrom's figure and I was like, babe, that's so low. And he's like, I'm cool with it. And I was like, I'm cool with it too, So anyways, lo and behold, the seller did get a better offer, but they said that basically the letter that I wrote, we were the family that they wanted to choose. Something about we were just standing out to them. We were, even though the other money was better, we were their pick. And so anyways, we end up doing this whole, negotiating thing, and we end up going into binding, and we know when the inspection is, and we weren't going to open our mouths until inspection because again, I wasn't interested in making some big announcement that wasn't going to pan out. I was totally cool with not having the move happen now. You know what I mean? So if the Lord wasn't opening doors, I wasn't about to open my mouth. It's just not even interested. And so lo and behold, the inspection happens and the guy calls us and he goes, y'all finally picked a good one. Like, this is beautiful. It's legit. Everything's new. Like, the roof is new. The brand new floors are pine and they're brand new. We have 4,000 square feet, which is double what we have now. We have 3 levels, massive open everything. We have 2 different garages. I don't know if you guys saw in the picture, but the driveway is circular and we're literally up on, I call it a mountain. It's not really a mountain, but it's like literally this hill. Like, our driveway is like super steep. We have, the driveway is round like that because a car can obviously go in this drive or into this garage and then also on the other side. So we have garages on both sides. We have, when you go out into the back of, again, I've just seen video. I haven't seen it in person. I'll give y'all a virtual tour when I actually get my buns there on the I think it'll be the 24th. So mark it in your calendar. We'll go live. But anyways, and so I literally, like, out the back, you have not only a place for the kids to play in the yard, but all you see are woods. Like, yes, we have a neighborhood, but it's so much space. It's just woods, which we have mountain views from all of our windows. So that's totally Pacific Northwest, like, just, like homey, the woods. I know you guys, if you saw the picture of the house, kind of like an aerial view, it's not very like green. That's because it was taken in December. So wait until it's green. Wait until it's autumn. You know what I mean? Like, it'll just be gorgeous. We have, of course, our own master. We have plenty of space. I wanted to make sure that we had room for, like, when our family comes and visits us. Of course, we already have people who are like, wait a minute, you're going to live smack dab in the heart of where Jesus is doing all the things every week. Like, I'm coming, And so we're just super excited. Don't get me wrong, I already said there's a lot of scary aspects too, but I'm just the type of person who, if the Lord says go, then I will mourn what needs to be mourned, but I will move forward. And I've lived in Venezuela, but that was just me, myself, and I, right? This feels a little bit more scary because it's me, it's my husband, it's our babies. It's like literally like his vision of we were being completely uprooted and moved. And it'll be an adventure. It'll be a journey. If you are anywhere in the U.S., whether you're local or not, and you want to help me, I have a whole lot of stash with something called doTERRA. So I would much rather you buy my stash and I can hand it to you in person and give you a hug, or I can ship it to you or whatever, what have you, instead of pack it. So just saying, if you need anything, I'm your girl. But it doesn't matter where we live. This is obviously a perk of living right here, right now in the technology world where we can go live, we can share pictures, we can stay connected. I hope to actually go live a little bit more. Maybe you've seen me be silent. That's because a lot of the times if I don't, let's just say I say things how they are and I got nothing to hide. Like, I'm as transparent as they come. And so when I don't feel at liberty to speak, it's hard for me to go live and share all the things because I know that I'm probably, holding back the biggest thing that I want to talk about. And it's just not time to, if that makes sense. So I have been a little quiet, but I'm excited to get a little louder. And I just got to say that if you are in Washington or Oregon or California, I want you to be encouraged to live. I want you to live however you want to live and feel called to live. I want you to know that while this warrior might be going to a state that is, my phone did that thing again. Anyways, while this warrior is literally going to a state that is free and open and smiles are everywhere and people are everywhere, stand your ground here, okay? If I could do anything, I would leave you with that. I would leave you with the fact that this is such a beautiful place, and until the people push back and say enough is enough, until people stand their ground, we're going to put up with this nonsensical leadership. These people who think they can tell us how to live our lives. And that's just not true. America is founded on literal freedom and constitutional rights, and we have to protect that. We have to protect that. So I obviously could go all the different ways with you. We could talk, physical and get you healthy that way. We could talk spiritual and dive into the word. We could talk freedom and fighter and warrior and all the things. But I'm spicy and I don't mind a war. And apparently the Lord has just really, if you know me at all, I do things full on, full force. And you guys saw me, if you have followed me long enough, I took on that government, what's it called now? I even forget it. What's it called? A governor. My goodness. The race, right? And the grassroots movement and how we literally made waves with that. Okay. And I warded that and I went after it. Right. Same thing with anything spiritual. I'll go after it with you. I'll go. Anything freedom wise, I'll go. Like live full out. Find what it is you are called to, even if it's just for a season, and live full out, big time, massively, 100%, all in. Because I guarantee you that not only will you feel satisfied in that space and you will feel so full of purpose, but you will encourage other people to do and be the same. Because when you stand courageous, others find their courage. So stand courageous. Stand courageous in your state. Stand courageous in your faith. Stand courageous in whatever it is that you feel called to, and stand with integrity and watch other people circle around you and join you, because you have now inspired them to live courageously. All right. So if I missed any of the comments, I will go back and I will look. In short, if you're just joining me, we have a house. It is past inspection with flying colors. We are set to close on it Monday, January 24th. It might be bumped up to Friday the 20th. Kind of praying for that. That would save me on hotel. And we will, we'll keep y'all posted and just watch and see what the Lord is going to do in our lives, but also in yours. He doesn't just want to show up for the Nordstroms. Come on now. We're special, but He thinks you're special. He thinks you're pretty awesome. And so anyways, love y'all. Thanks for joining. And I'll check the comments and respond accordingly. And if you're local, come by, come squeeze me. Got lots to get rid of. Got lots of oils that you can happily have. And I will happily help you with that. And otherwise, February 2nd, super, super early. It's a Wednesday. We have Caneo February 1st at night, and then we will leave super early Wednesday, February 2nd, heading down to Southern California, because since we're traveling in the winter, we don't want to be stuck in a snow route. So we're going to go super south down to California and then jet all the way across. So just 2 crazy parents, 4 kids, and 2 cats. Oh my goodness. Pray for